John chapter 13. So we're in the home stretch, the last week. And now the story starts getting intense because we're at the final week, the week before Jesus dies for our sins, sacrifices himself. So it starts with the Passover. During the Passover, chapter 13 starts during the Passover. Jesus washes the disciples' feet. So they're having dinner. He gets up from the table and starts washing their feet. There's a significant thing about that to me. I don't know. I've heard others preach about this and I don't remember exactly what was said, but what I know about what I remember from what I've been told about that culture, they wore sandals all the time. There weren't paved roads back then. They were walking around in sand, so their feet got dirty, and I think it was customary before you entered a room to wash your feet, so the dirt that was on your feet from the road didn't get in the room, but they sat down to eat. And then Jesus rose up from dinner to wash their feet. I don't know if they forgot to wash their feet or whatever, but Jesus got up from that moment to wash their feet. And in that culture, for sure, I do know this, the servants were usually the ones who were washing the feet, not the master. So as he came to the disciples, start washing their feet. When he came to Peter, Peter said, Lord, do you wash my feet? And Jesus said to him, if I do not wash your feet, you have no part of me. And then Peter, being as zealous as he is, says, well, if that's the case, then wash my hands, wash my head, wash all of me. Jesus says there's no need for that. You just need to wash your feet. But the significance of this story is Jesus washing Peter's feet and Peter realizing that he needs Jesus to wash all of him because Jesus is the redemption and the one who washes everything from us. And Jesus here is representing what needs to happen, that we need to be washed by him, by the master. Us as servants need to be washed clean by the master, and we're washed clean through his blood. This is a powerful story, the foot washing story. And so the question I want to ask you and for you to ask yourself, am I at a place where I want Jesus to wash all of me, to redeem me fully? And if that is the case, then all you have to do is ask him to do that. And when you pray and say that, pray it earnestly. Jesus, wash all of me, take all of me, use all of me. I pray that I have the zeal that Peter had. And we already know what happens to Peter after this, so you know we're going to get there. What happens to Peter? He struggled, as we all struggle. We're all human, we're all flesh, we struggle. But I just pray that I could have that zeal like Peter does. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I just pray that it's continuing zeal to draw closer to God and get more of Jesus and all of Jesus that he is willing to give me. So that's my devotional, but I'm just because we're setting up the rest of the week here. What else happens in chapter 13 is Judas gets called out. He actually is like pointed out to the disciples, but they don't see it at that time. And what's interesting, and I've always, when I was younger, I used to be like, how could they not see it? He pointed it out. The one who dips the bread with me he's showing them this is the guy, but they still don't see it. They're like, oh, Judas is going to go feed the poor. No, he's going to go betray Jesus. But as I got older, I started realizing, okay, Jesus was actually not revealing this to them specific, like he was revealing it to them, but at that time they were so close to Judas and didn't think that Judas could be one of them that they didn't even see it in front of their eyes until after it all happened and they were writing these gospels that they realized, oh, Judas. That was what Jesus was saying. The one who dips the bread with me. Why didn't we catch it? I don't know. You have had things in your life that's happened. Like, I know there's been things in my life where God moved in a situation, and at the time, I didn't know it was God. I thought it was just a coincidence or whatever. And then later, reflecting back, this is why I talk about journaling so much, because journaling promotes reflecting back, and then realizing, oh man, God was really moving at that time. The puzzle pieces of my life that didn't seem to fit in place at that time, they were being put in place, even though I didn't think so. Like over here, it looked like the blue should have went over here and the purple should have went over here. That's how I saw it. But Jesus knew that if you put the purple over here and the blue over here, eventually the green and everything would just make this beautiful picture of life because he has the plan. So, with that, that's my devotional for today. Stay strong, stay valiant, keep forging your path, and be blessed.